Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So, just recently, apparently, Shannon Sharpe has been catching it from all sides. And you know what's really sad about this? People love to say, oh, you're always trying to bring the black man down, and blah, 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 this. And I told y'all before, ain't really no such thing as friends in the industry. That goes for every industry. But it's black men that are coming at every side from every side against this man. Now, some of you might be wondering, what in the world does that have to do with anything? So, just recently, there have been a host of individuals, and it's really making me scratch my head and really question some of these men. They have been coming out left and right out of the woodwork and throwing shade at this man because of these last two interviews that he did that has gotten a lot of views. Y'all, I want y'all to understand something. Shannon Sharpe does not even have 3 million followers, yet 3 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. Not yet. He's close, but he's not there yet. And even with those just 3 million, he has gotten, as it stands right now, as I'm making this video, 58 million views on that Cat Williams podcast and 11 million views on that Monique podcast. He is getting the bag, I don't think y'all understand. And that's on top of the other things that he's doing, like doesn't he have a podcast with Ocho Cinco? So he's getting the bag for real. And because they sat at that podcast, and told the truth. I didn't said this before. It's not his truth. It's not her truth. It's the truth. Because I believe that there was a lot of truth in what they said, both of them, both Kat and Monique. Because of the way that these people responded to them. There's a way people react and respond to people, to the truth specifically. You can tell what's the truth by how people react. Because if it wasn't the truth, they wouldn't say and do some of the stuff that they did. Or they're just that raggedy. Because some of them, believe it or not, are just that raggedy. Now, the sad part about this, well, this is the sadder part, let me just be honest. It was people who he didn't even talk about during the interview. Monique didn't even bring up some of these people. Cat Williams didn't even bring up some of these people. And they inserted themselves on purpose. It started with Mike Epps, running around the internet talking about how he was mad because Cat Williams didn't mention his name, because he got a tour coming up, because he wanted some publicity. What is wrong with him? Like, I really want y'all to understand that there is a serious problem with this man. And then on top of that, he's going to do his stand-up where he was talking about Shannon. You know, like the stuff that he said, which a lot of people thought was very disrespectful, calling him Medea with a wig on, talking about I didn't want to go and sit up there. You know, he tried to invite me over there because I didn't want him looking at my private parts. That's disrespectful for you to say to another man. A grown man should never say something like that to another grown man. He was out of line for that. He really crossed the line. And allegedly what he said wasn't even the truth. So this man literally got up during his stand-up and lied on Shannon all for some clout. All because he was mad because they didn't bring him up during the interview. They got 58 million views so that he could have some clout. Y'all are talking about what some people will do for some attention. How clout is one heck of a drug. Oh yeah, he proved that by them shenanigans that he did. That's how you know somebody's really full of it. And by full of it, I mean full of the devil and hogwash. That's how you know when they're doing stuff like this. And then I guess it just upset Shannon Sharpe so badly that he had to make a video. Now, here's what I have to say about that. First of all, that was his whole thing to begin with. He wanted Shannon Sharpe to say something because he wanted that publicity. He wanted his name tied to Shannon Sharpe's some kind of way because he was mad. Low-key, he's giving jealousy vibes. And it's just disgusting to me. Y'all acting like catty old women on the internet. I'm not talking about Shannon. I'm talking about him and these other men that are doing this to him. They're acting like catty old women on the internet. Doing this gossip thing, doing this jealousy thing. He really got upset because he wasn't getting those numbers. He wasn't getting that kind of attention. And he did all this and then pissed this man off. But Shannon still shouldn't have said something, or anything for that matter, to him because that's exactly what he wanted. He gave him the attention that he wanted, and I get it. Some people get sick and tired of being bothered and picked at and lied on. Eventually, they're going to want to say something, but he shouldn't have even given him the time of day because that was what he wanted. You gave him what he wanted. And you also recorded yourself on camera, low-key, threatening him. Like, I get it. I get the point of the video, but you know, you don't want that out there because that could be used against you. Because then people are going to say, oh, well, Shannon, you threatened him. And they're not going to care about what he said, what he lied on him about, so to speak. Now, it was hilarious to me. It was a bit of, comic relief, if you will. Chad Ocho Cinco, I'm going to be honest, I don't care much for him. But this little uncle-nephew dynamic that they have going on with their podcast, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of hilarious to me. It is. I said the dynamic. I'm not always here for what they talk about because I think they usually talk about sports. I'm not here for sports. But the dynamic of it all, it seems genuine. It seems authentic, and it's hilarious to me, especially when this man was telling Mike Epps over his camera screen, I'm going to do this, this, and this. That's what I'm going to do when I see you. And this man had the audacity to say, oh yeah, and I'm going to help you, Unc, as soon as I get off probation. That's ridiculous. But it was nice to see that somebody, Chad Ochocinco, had his back, was there for him, was, hyping him up, was on his side, unlike these other ones out here. And then Mike Epps, of course, he had the audacity, it's real fun in games and you joking about something that's not something you should be joking about. Because like he said, it's a joke to one person, but it's life or death to another person, so to speak. It's all fun and games and you joking until you make the person mad and then they ready to do something about it. This dude gonna have the audacity to try and shame him for what he said in response to him lying on him publicly as a joke, and then gonna say, well, you know where I'ma be at, and you know when I'ma be there. I don't fight these days. Basically, he said I shoot. That's basically what he said without saying it. And once again, the sad part about this is it wouldn't have even gotten to that point if he would have just kept the man's name out of his mouth. They all want to sit up and try to make it seem like Shannon Sharpe is gay. Listen, I don't know that man from a can of paint. I don't know his sexuality like that. I'm not trying to be in his business. But if he didn't put that information out there, I don't understand why they're trying to throw it in his face now. They weren't trying to do that before. But they're trying to sit up here and act like this man is gay, even though he has not addressed those things or admitted to that. But what kind of a man always has another man's name in his mouth? Answer that question, please, somebody. They want to call him gay, but they're always talking about him. He's living rent-free in their minds all the time since that Cat Williams interview. So who really is the one that's suspect? Now, we have to talk about Corey Holcomb. I really don't understand what he had to do with this. Once again, another individual who calls himself a comedian that says some disrespectful behind mess and then wants to slap comedy over it. That uses his platform, another one of those people I was talking about, that really doesn't need a platform because he uses his to spread destructive mindsets and encourage division and disparity amongst the individuals of our community. And everybody laughs as a result of it and just passes it off as whatever. Like I said, I really don't understand where he came from or what gave him the right to insert himself in this situation anyways, other than he probably got triggered by something somebody said in that interview. Which it really wasn't even Shannon. It was the other people talking. He must have got triggered or he must be mad because, like Mike Epps, he's not getting that kind of attention. He's not getting those kind of numbers. He's not getting that kind of bag. And once again, this is what makes me mad. Instead of talking about Shannon Sharpe and attacking him like they've been doing, like I said, they've really been coming out of the woodwork on Shannon. I really don't think it's right. They need to ask themselves why people aren't tuning into their podcast. Maybe it's something that they're saying that people don't want to hear. Maybe they're saying something that's wrong. I said maybe, but the truth is they've been saying a lot of stuff that's not right, that's wrong, and that's why people don't care for them anymore. They're not here for people being disrespectful and trying to call it jokes. People are sick and tired of it. Some of the stuff that comedians like Corey Holcomb and Mike Epps have said and tried to pass off as jokes because they know that there is a market for being disparaging towards black people, especially black women. They don't find it funny, or at least some of them might have in the past, but they're seeing how disrespectful and destructive, once again, it is to the community, and they don't find it funny anymore. Some people, they see through the bullcrap. They see it for what it is. They see them as black men who are self-hating, who's using their platform and their jobs as comedian to spread, once again, disparity, to spread division, to use their platform as an outlet for toxicity, perversion, disrespect, and they hate it. And I don't blame them. But anyways, he also had the audacity to try and make it seem like Shannon Sharpe was gay. Once again, y'all all should know if y'all followed my channel for any amount of time, where I am with that kind of stuff. But one other thing that I also like to talk about is how people will use other things, other subjects, other issues to overshadow what the real problem is. The real problem right now, one, is them trying to make him be gay, whether he is or he isn't, and then use that as an excuse to overshadow all of what has been going on. Monique and Cat Williams sitting down with him and telling all of what they were telling, and these people how they were reacting, proving that what they said was the truth. They're trying to use that to bash him with and overshadow the fact that these men are really all jealous. Let's just call it what it is, because that's what it looks like. You can tell when somebody's reaction is once again laced with animosity and jealousy towards somebody else who's doing better than they are. And two, because they all know that they can't question him in other places. They know that they really can't question his integrity. They know they have no rebuttal for the truth that was said on that show that he didn't question, that he didn't stop. There's nothing else they can throw in his face. So what do? They go to the default option, which is to question his sexuality and talk about his appearance. Compare him to a woman. Talk about how he looks like Medea and question whether or not he's gay or not. Because they know that's something that they can mess with him concerning. They can't say anything else about him. They can't say he's not out here getting money. What did the songwriter say? Call me what you want, but you can't call me broke. They can't call him broke. They can't call him nothing else. But they can question his sexuality. That's the only way they can get at him, and that's what they're doing. That is the textbook stereotypical rebuttal reaction of somebody who's mad, who's jealous, who's triggered, who's something, who's offended. There's nothing that they can actually say that's intelligent, valid, or commonsensical, competent as a rebuttal against the person. So once again, they attack their physical appearance or they attack their sexuality. Literally, D.L. Hughley just did it with Monique. She was respectful, like I said, to him in the interview. But one of the first things out of his raggedy mouth, and the main part of his rebuttal, his reaction, was a disrespectful remark towards her physical appearance and the people around her, like her husband, once again. And wasn't these the same individuals, the same comedians, as a part of the same clique as Cat Williams let us know, that was complaining about black comedians coming for other black comedians, black men coming for other black men, but they had no problems coming for Shannon Sharpe. They threw that all in the trash so that they could attack him and his sexuality all over what? Again, jealousy, some clout. I done told y'all, ain't no friends in the industry, only groups of people who co-sign other people's bullcrap, and if you don't co-sign the bullcrap, then they come after you, they gang up on you, they talk about you, they throw you under the bus. They can't find any kind of sensical rebuttal to say or anything that's actually the truth. They come for your appearance. They try to find some kind of way to invalidate you instead of doing self-reflection. And once again, instead of asking themselves, okay, well, what in the world have I been doing to put myself in this situation? No, they just want to attack somebody that's doing better than them. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. And for real, for the life of me, I can't understand why anybody is shocked concerning Corey Holcomb. I was shocked how he was able to insert himself in a situation that didn't even involve him, that didn't even bring up his name. That's the part where I was shocked. But what came out of his mouth, the raggedy stuff that he said about Shannon Sharpe, that didn't shock me. For some reason, it shocked some people. But I've been trying to point some attention to the fact that this dude is toxic, and he uses his platform to spread toxicity and division. But the problem with the black community is, well, one of the many problems, they like to wait until somebody who's popular, who's on and popping at the moment, who they like in the moment, who they might be attracted to, gets talked about, gets lied on, has disrespectful stuff said about them, to finally get offended by somebody who's been saying disrespectful stuff, point period blank. See, if people would have called him out the first time that he had been making some disrespectful comments, despite who it was about, if you can read between the lines, and stop making some of these raggedy comedians popular, they wouldn't have the podcast, the platforms to be able to say some of the stuff that they're saying now about some of these people's favorite people. Once again, if we would stop making people famous, making black people famous, who have shown themselves to be toxic from the very first moment, some of these things would not be happening. Okay, you can say what you want to. Everybody makes some mistakes here or there. I don't always agree with everybody, but we know who's toxic and we know who's not toxic. And instead of elevating and making popular and famous the non-toxic people, the black community chose to make the toxic people famous once again. And that is why the industry is the way that it is. Now, speaking of toxic people, he also called out D.L. Hughley for basically trying to compare him to Wendy Williams. He literally called this man Wendy Williams with a weight set. That right there was another insult. Was an insult to his manhood. Once again, whether he is or isn't gay, we don't know that for sure. But for him to say that, to even make that kind of comparison, he's not messy. Once again, he already established, I didn't go back and forward with the people I brought on here. I brought them on here to tell their story and the truth. That's literally all he did. He is not to be compared to Wendy Williams, first of all, because he's a man. I've already told y'all that was disrespectful of them to do, to compare him to a woman, to liken him to a woman. That was disrespectful in itself. But also to liken him to somebody who was messy indeed. Because Wendy Williams, despite what she's going through, and God help her, and her son, she was very messy. That is not Shannon Sharpe. And it's sad that he would even compare him like that. And also the fact that he would even say that, the fact that he would even fix his mouth to say that about Shannon Sharpe makes me really do believe everything once again that Monique said about him, especially that tidbit when they were on the podcast and his assistant, whoever the raggedy woman was, said what she said in that little raggedy game about her husband, and then he just brushed it off. If he could say something like that about Shannon, I can believe he would be dismissive about something that was said like that about Monique's husband. I can believe it. And also, once again, because how would he even be able to understand a relationship where somebody actually has respect for their spouse? This is the same dude who allegedly, I guess I have to say, cheated on his spouse, got the woman pregnant, and then hoped that the baby died. I'm just reminding y'all of what some of these people are capable of, and why, once again, they don't need to be put on a pedestal. Why it was a huge mistake that the black community made them famous, supported them, went to their shows, gave them their money. It was more than a mistake, actually. It was a travesty and a disrespect. And the craziest part about it is there'll still be some people out there talking about, oh, I don't care what he did. I'm still going to go support him. You know, whatever. That's the craziest part. And another crazy part is allegedly, Stephen A. Smith had something to say. Apparently, something along the lines of, oh, well, he built Shannon Sharpe to be who he was, or that Shannon Sharpe got fired back in the day, and if it wasn't for him, Shannon Sharpe would be nothing. That's what it was, something along the lines of. And I'm really trying to wonder where Captain Coonery came out of left field saying something like that. Like, these people really have some audacity. And I'm trying to find out where they got it from, because I really don't understand. Maybe one of y'all in the comments can help me find where they got the audacity from. I really want to know. I said it once, I'll say it again. Pay attention to how these celebrities, these comedians, these actors, whoever they are, whatever they call themselves, pay attention to how they respond and how they react to certain situations, certain people. Take notes and then respond accordingly. They are showing everybody who they really are, what they're really about, and where they really stand. See them for who they are and act accordingly, like I said. Now, as for Shannon Sharpe, I hate to say it this way, and I don't mean it to dismiss what he's going through and how he feels. He's going to have to get used to this, because at the level that he is right now, where our community is concerning the standards, the morals, and the mental state of our community, and how some of these people be moving on the internet, unfortunately, this comes with the territory. You don't get to these places without having to endure something like this. He's going to have to learn how to shake some of this stuff off and ignore them, because his silence is the best thing he can pay some of these people who just want clout. They want to be attached to his name once again for the clout of it all. Now, he said it himself. His people taught him not to chase a lie, but he needs to make sure it's a lie, point, period, blank. I'm going to just go ahead and be bold enough to say that. Once again, I'm not denying that it is hard to sit back and not tell people, keep my name out of your mouth whenever they're lying on you, constantly bringing you up, saying stuff about you that's not true, saying stuff about you that's not right just because they're mad over some stupid stuff. But once again, he's going to have to learn how to deal with it if he wants to stay at the top where he is. Or he's going to have to learn how to beat them at their own game. If they want to make jokes, he need to learn how to make jokes back. You want to say disrespectful stuff and slap, oh, it's a joke over it? I can do that too. We can use Mr. Stephen A. Smith as an example. When he got up and decided to actually try and make it seem like Shannon Sharpe owed him something due to his success, he could have been like, first of all, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Ain't nobody checking for you, Stephen A. But they are checking for Clout-Chasing, who's going to be on the next interview. And as for Mike Epps, for him trying to make a joke about him being gay, he could have said, well, you know what? I've never known any straight man that has always had another man's name in his mouth that often. You up here talking about who's gay and who's not, but you're crying on the internet about some other man's attention. Talking about some Shannon Sharpe podcast this. Why didn't Cat Williams mention my name that? So once again, and as I said before, who's really the suspect one here? He gonna have to learn how to fire some jokes back, or learn how to not let it bother him, or pay it as much attention as he would the dirt under his feet, and not give them the attention that they're wanting, that they're trying to get from him. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think and how y'all feel about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.